Hey guys, welcome back to the Quick 60. Today I'm going to be going over the third place team in the AFC East. To some people's surprise, the Miami Dolphins finished 10-6 last year, and they had Tua come in because Fitzpatrick got hurt, and a lot of people expect them to do good this year, do better than 10-6 this year. However, I'm not one of those people, and I'll give you some reasons why in this video. So some key additions in the offseason were Jacoby Brissett, who I believe will probably play a little bit, Malcolm Brown, who also will play a little bit, Will Fuller, who will start. We'll talk more about him as well. DJ Fluker, Matt Skura, I believe he'll be starting at center. John Jenkins, Adam Butler, Brennan Scarlett, McKinney, and Justin Coleman. Some people that left, however, are Ryan Fitzpatrick, went to Washington, Matt Breida, Ted Karras, Shaq Lawson, Kyle Van Noy, Bobby McCain. So let's talk about the Miami Dolphins draft picks this season. So I believe head coach Brian Flores, he's on the hot seat this year. I believe that he was on the hot seat last year, but going 10-6 kind of skated him by. But I don't believe he'll be there the whole season this year, and definitely not next year. The Dolphins had a chance to either draft Tua 2 years ago or Justin Herbert, and it looks like they picked the wrong decision. Tua came in earlier than expected last season because of Fitzpatrick's injury, and he didn't perform too well. He was serviceable, but coming into training camp this year, his first day he threw 5 interceptions, and it's not looking promising, to say the least. Not only that, but to add to Tua's injury history all the way back to Alabama, starting his rookie season at Miami, having a little bit of injury history as well, as far as the combine and stuff like that goes. And then to add insult to injury, I ranked the Dolphins offensive line 30th in the NFL. So they're one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. So they did shore up their wide receiver group a little bit, but their offensive line is still horrendous. And then you have Myles Gaskin at running back, who was kind of a questionable. He's not going to have very much places to run. He did serviceable last year, but I don't think he's a great runner. They don't really have a running back core. I'm not really high on Devontae Parker either. I think he's a huge bust. I don't think he's going to be as good as hyped up as most people believe him to be. Will Fuller, that's a good addition, but he's a boomer bust player too. He was with the Texans, and who knows if he can stay healthy. He's always hurt. So if he can stay healthy, he's a home run hitter. He won't get you those in between shallow routes, but he'll have 80 yards and a touchdown a couple games, and then he'll go for 15 yards another game. So, it is what it is. Jalen Waddle, who knows how he's going to play in the slot. We'll see as far as him in his rookie year. And then my sleeper pick, I think one of the best receivers on the group is actually Preston Williams. So he played really good last year when he got time to play. And so we'll see what happens with him. He's a big receiver. I think that in fantasy, as well as I think he'll move up, especially if Parker can't be serviceable or Will Fuller gets hurt. Preston Williams is the name to look out for. And, I really feel for Tua back there because his offensive line, Austin Jackson and Robert Hunt, they were mediocre at best last season. And so, you look at that offensive line with Solomon Kelly as well, and they got Skura, the center, but I just don't see any good offensive linemen all the way across the board. And God forbid if one of them gets hurt, then they're really screwed. So, I feel bad for Tua. I feel bad for that situation in Miami this season because it looked promising last year, but That's only because Fitzpatrick can manage games and do what he does. That's why Washington's going to be in the playoff hunt this year for the division, but Miami not so much. They ended up drafting Tua instead of Justin Herbert, and it's kind of a carousel of quarterbacks. And Fitzpatrick was serviceable, and then Tannehill, he was good a few years, not good a few years. They had Josh Rosen come in right from Arizona, played a couple games, didn't do great, did awful actually. And then you had Jay Cutler come in, right? And so they've been trying to figure out this quarterback position. I'd say Tannehill was figured out for a little bit and then, left. But before that, it was since Dan Marino. So, they really have to figure that spot out because, unfortunately, I don't believe Tua is going to be the answer. However, on defense, they're going to be a little bit better than their offense. And, they have Christian Wilkins. He'll be starting at defensive end. He's pretty good. And then your linebacking core is kind of suspect. I believe Jalen Phillips will help that as well, being a rookie. And they have McKinney, who's okay. He's not great, but he's serviceable. And then the secondary is definitely their strong point. So that's going to help. Won't help the matchup against the Patriots and stuff like that. They like to run the ball a lot with Cam Newton. But, they have Byron Jones from Dallas, who's a good corner. Obviously, if Xavier Howard stays and signs a new contract, he's one of the best in the NFL. If he holds out and they trade him, so be it. That could be an issue for Miami. They do like to stockpile first-round picks, so, we'll see what happens with that as well. And they have Eric Rowe from New England, I believe, and he's pretty good as well. So we'll see. And they'll have Justin Coleman start probably the nickel corner spot. So their DBs are definitely a strong point of their defense. And then we'll see how Jalen Phillips holds up as a linebacker. I believe if he's a question mark and not good as advertised or has some injuries, then, I think that's definitely their weak point is linebacking core. So I have the Miami Dolphins finishing in third place, like I said, in the AFC East, not making the playoffs, and going 6-11 this season. So they're definitely dropping off and taking a step backwards this year. Hello, guys. I get it. After a promising season, almost making the playoffs, and then going back to 6-11, everybody wants to see their team and their team predictions be good and better than last year. But that's just not realistic. That's not reasonable, and that's just not how I'm seeing it based on the key additions, free agency, as well as it takes some rookies to develop. So I think that they're going to take a step backwards this year. So check out my page. If you like my page, please subscribe down below, as we'll be going over the second place team in the next few days from the AFC West.